The coalition. King John ordered a meeting of all of his allies from across Polaria. Each of his allied kingdoms sent a delegate. From Raeaon, they sent General Telpor, a master tactician. Magnor was General Lucar, a veteran of previous wars. Mycerus, Captain Makar, who helped in slaying of the Kirgir. Finally, from Palestine was Prince Kundar, a master sailor. They all debated on what was the best way of killing the Raeaon and stopping them. They all had different approaches. However, the main idea was that Archelane and Aignor would go in and from both sides to Razagul, and the others would give support in that effort and have their navies raid the enemy coasts and port cities. This would hopefully weaken them. This plan would damage them, but it would not defeat the Raeaon. They had already proven that no matter how strong a force, they would keep losing. So they needed something else to help win their strategy. So King John came up with the plan. Him and the delegates, plus Captain Makor, would go and try to go to Mondazan to get the help of the Anlark. For even with a majority of Polaria on their side, they could not win against the Raeaon and her allies. So they declared war first, and then that ship set out with all of the allies delegates on it. After that, they declared war. Archelane's armies came in from the west, under Prince Cornel, and Aignor from the east, under Prince Shamanj. They went in to attack Razagul. The navies of their allies went up and attacked their opponent's ships. In Frelos, there was a revolt. The people of Freyr had long been tired of the rule of Frelos, so they revolted yet another time, weakening the entire nation of Frelos, and all of their forces could not be put elsewhere. In Razagul and Razgali, the orcs got mobilized, but not fast enough. Before a large part of Razagul got taken, including their capital of Ralwa. In Frelos, the Freorians were being monetarily aided by Darfi, which helped in their war efforts against the Frelos forces. Also, they naval invaded parts of Frelos, which further hurt the Frelos force. Eventually, they captured all of Frelos, and their civil war was over, with them being the Freorian forces of the north and the Veros forces of the south went in both directions and crushed the Veros forces. Yet another Veros Raeaon ally was knocked out of the war. So the coalitions started pushing in all directions and then held their ground and started fortifying some of their cities that they had taken. Since they had captured Veros, Howitzer and Jeremiah were finally set free of their 20-plus year prison sentence. They were freed and joined the Archelane army shortly after. However, the Raeaon could see that they were not winning. So, in their dark city, they started combining two of their cursed races, of the Orcs and the Swarks. They combined the Swarks' magical capabilities with the Orcs' brute strength and the Swarks' intelligence to create a new race capable of dealing with the Alliance and the Coalition. They started making a mass number of these new races, and they were having overwhelming victories in Frelos and Varos, pushing out most of the Coalition's forces there. They had a huge encirclement also, and they liberated those two allies. But earlier, the ship that had left with the delegates was on its route to Mondazent. It took a month and a half to reach there. Once it got to their shores, they were all captured and brought to the king of Mondazent, where they talked about what needs to be done, and King John assured them that they were from Polaria, and they were not a Raeaon spy. He also convinced their king to side with them, for once the coalition lost, the Raeaon would be even stronger, and then they would just come down once more to Mondazent and attack them. So they gained an alliance, and their fleet would have to take another month and a half to get there. And they prepared for a month, but they would eventually arrive. However, the Raeaon kept pushing back the coalition's forces. However, the coalition only had to hold until they could get Mondazent's forces. Soon they arrived, their forces bolstering all of their ranks, and they had an even larger navy to add to. They pushed out all across Polaria, weakening the Raeaon. Eventually, the Raeaon just left their last city of Zalaris before it was captured and they were killed. After the war, the map of Polaria was completely redrawn. The once Orcish kingdom of Razagul was integrated into the new kingdom of Arcanor, which was dissolved many, many years ago. King Shamanj of Aegnor set his claim to the throne down to King John, and he was the ruler of the new kingdom. All of the orcs around the world were sent to Ogand, the new orc kingdom, which was now loyal to Arcanor and friendly and not evil. In Veros, a new loyal kingdom was set up, and in Frelos, the Freorians took power with their line. The elves of Darfi migrated to the empty northern parts of what used to be Rosgali, and they brought back Alaris Forest and reformed their old kingdom of Ife. And Palisai regained the islands that they had once lost. With all four races together in a new unity that would last for thousands of more years. The end.